Good morning. Today we're going to be making our way up to Mount Isolation. We decided on the Rocky Branch Trail today because I didn't really sleep as well as I thought I should have, and the weather had changed. I originally planned this as an overnight trip, but got to adapt to the weather a little bit. So it looks like we got some rain and heavy stuff coming in on the overnight, so I'm opting to go up Mount Isolation this way. So a nice hike. Pretty steady. It's a long trail. It's probably going to be close to 14 miles round trip if I don't do any bushwhacks, and day's looking to be good, so hopefully we get some nice views at the top there. See you in the trail. All right, about a half mile into the Rocky Branch. It's been good. It's been a lot like this with some sporadic inclines. We've gone about 400 feet of gain in about half a mile. Parking lot was about half full, but I think most of the people are out ahead of me here. And no bugs to speak of yet. Hopefully that keeps up. All right, about a mile and a third in. Gone up about 900 feet of elevation. Trail has just pretty much been this. There's been a couple of sporadic muddy parts, but very avoidable. Trail's been pretty dry so far. I'm sure in the spring this trail is a whole other ball of wax, but so far it's been pretty unremarkable. Just a walk in the woods so far. First real sign of sustained wetness on the trail. My understanding is this trail is usually wet and soggy and muddy and gross, but right now, for the most part, as you see, we're back on a nice dry trail, so hopefully it maintains that as long as we can get it. A little change of scenery for a minute. I'm back in the woods. Alright, so we're about 2 miles in. We've gained about 1,600 feet of elevation so far. It looks like we're going slightly downhill for a little bit. It's been pretty level the last tenth of a mile or so. Like I said earlier, it's been a couple little spots with mud and wet trail, but this trail has been for the most part dry, just as you see it here. I'm not sure if it's going to get a lot wetter up here when we get closer to the crossing, so that would make sense, but I think the water levels are pretty low. Haven't gotten much rain up here in a while, at least anything that's significant. some signage here. Looks like we are now entering Presidential Range Dry River Wilderness. Excellent. I believe we're about 2.3, 2.5 miles in. All right, let's continue. All right, getting close to Engine Hill. And I'm thinking this is the bushwhack. Now we got a decision to make. All right, let me think on it and I'll get back to you. So main trail it is to get to Isolation, Rocky Branch. I thought I found where the bushwhack was, and I ended up with a little shortcut that cut off a very tiny section of trail, but that was not it. So back on the trail. Maybe we'll explore it if we see it on the way back, but otherwise I'm probably almost guarantee that unless the water crossings are very high, that the main trail is the way to go anyway. I'm sure the bushwhack doesn't really save much time, maybe just a little bit of distance, and of course a couple of water crossings. Up ahead, I believe that is Isolation you see there. Gotta do a little zigzagging before we get there, but first couple peaks of it, peaks of the peak. And for the most part it is remained very dry, and I know we're going to be coming up to the river soon, towards the junction of the Isolation Trail, so see what that pans out for us. The trail closed in a little bit on us, and as advertised, it is rocky. All right, let's continue. All right, looks like we got a water crossing. Take a look and see where the trail continues. Alright. Right across the way. Beautiful. And looks like this is where we switch over to the Isolation Trail. Nice. I'm gonna take a couple pictures and move on. There you go. All right, Isolation Trail East is where we're heading. Goodbye, Rocky Branch. All right, Isolation Trail East. Wet trail next to the river. Don't mind listening to that river go by though, I like that. I think as of right now, I think we're looking at roughly 3 miles and 1,000 feet of gain. So far, Isolation East has been real nice. We're early into it, but got views of the river. Trail is wide, good footing. That's pleasant, and it's afforded me a good bit of shade here, which I appreciate because it's starting to get warm out. Nice swimming hole right there. Another close-up view of the river. Wow, that sun is hot. Don't know how long I'll be able to linger at the summit if it's going to be that hot. Might have to dive back into the shade. Alright, crossing the river. Alright, getting ready for crossing number 3. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, looks like it crosses here. So crossing number 3 there was not crossing number 3. Looked like the path trail went across the river, and it did not. So I had to come back on the correct side of the river and
Continuing on. All right. All right, water crossing number 4, just past the first camp. All right, 5th water crossing on Isolation East. Continuing the Isolation Trail east. If I had to guess, we're mile and a half to the summit. Getting out in the sun. Hoping we get a nice breeze at the summit, make it a little more tolerable. Starting to get some views. Beautiful. Let's continue. All right, looks like we're coming up to another campsite. Down in that path. Excellent. Means we're probably getting close to the turnoff. Let's continue. Tag this peak. All right, coming up to some signage. On Isolation. This way. Let's get it. Alright, Davis Path to Mount Isolation. I think we got roughly 300 feet of gain in just under a mile. Have a little something neat. down for a minute and then make our way back. Got a little taste of a breeze back there. Hey! Hoping there's still a breeze at the summit. Starting to break out of the trees a little. Gonna have clear views at the top. Making our ascent up the Davis to isolation. Getting warm. I'm ready for that breeze. Hello. Good, how are you today? There we are, we made it to the Mount Isolation Spur. So I don't think this is terribly long at all, but I know what's up. Mount Isolation. Wow. Number 45 or 48. View from Mount Isolation. go, number 45 or 48. All right, approaching the true cairn of Mount Isolation, 4,003 feet, I believe. 45 of 48. 3 more to go. And here is the survey marker. All right, I bet a lot of people think that that cairn over there, like I did, was the summit, but it is not. You have to go up a little bit more to get to the true summit. I'm glad I explored it. I almost was on my way out. So, beautiful day for this. There is the poser cairn. Real cairn's up there. Three more to go. All right, just made it down the Mount Isolation Spur. We're heading back. It's about 1:15. I believe we started around 7:30ish. Spent a little time at the summit. It was glorious. And now we got 7 miles to the truck. Hoping to get out of here just in time for dinner. On Davis, hiking out. Need more views of Washington on the way out. Seems like last several hikes I've done, Washington has been the centerpiece. All right, leaving Davis. And on to Isolation Trail, the Rocky Branch. All right, made to the junction of Rocky Branch. Last water crossing. Another campsite right there. Well, we made it. It's about 6 o'clock. We have a little over 14 miles and about 4,000 feet of elevation today. Great hike, long hike. I need a mile out of water. I need a drink and some food. But great hike. Thanks for coming along.